I'll invite to the stage Brandon Remington. Brandon is the Deputy Undersecretary for Policy at the International Trade Administration. He's one of the leaders at the Department of Commerce advising the International Trade Administration on global competitiveness, technology, and AI. After his remarks, he'll be joined on the stage by Aro Aujero, Head of International Policy for the Americas at Amazon. Thank you all, and Brandon.
Thanks for joining us. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be with all of you this morning. I'd like to thank the Washington International Trade Association for the invitation to speak at your inaugural Tech and Trade Summit. I have the privilege of serving as the Deputy Undersecretary for Policy at the International Trade Administration at the Department of Commerce, where our mandate is focused on promoting American exports, enforcing our trade laws, ensuring a level playing field with our trading partners, and attracting foreign investment to the United States. And under the leadership of President Donald J. Trump, we have been working every day to implement his America First trade agenda for the good of American producers and consumers. This agenda, backed by a clear mandate from the American people, is focused on rebalancing our trade relations, securing access to critical supply chains and materials, reindustrializing and prioritizing our own workers, and growing our defense, energy, and finance industries. President Trump's trade priorities are critical because economic security is fundamental to national security. That's why I believe the role of ITA today is more vital than ever, where our job is to help American companies compete and succeed here and around the world. The global economy stands at a pivotal point as advances in critical technologies, including AI, biotech, quantum, and autonomous systems, among others, are poised to drive immense expansions in productivity. The nations that participate in the innovation and adoption of these technologies will be positioned to leap ahead economically to the benefit of their citizens. Recognizing the opportunities that await American producers and consumers and the necessity of protecting American technological independence, President Trump has unleashed innovation like never before. President Trump's America First trade agenda increases our competitive edge, protects our sovereignty, and strengthens our national and economic security. Against this backdrop, recent global events demonstrate how the instruments of national power have evolved. The weaponization of supply chains, technology systems, and economic choke points have hardened a new and deepening geopolitical consensus among U.S. partners on the need to treat economic security as national security. Again and again, we have found American partners are looking to the United States for leadership to secure vital supply chains, remove coercive dependencies, and advance economic security. And that's exactly what President Trump, Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, and we at ITA are doing every day. This administration is leading through a growing network of new deals and agreements covering technology, trade, minerals, energy, and much more. After decades of a failed agenda of free trade absolutism and globalization, which neither supported domestic industry nor preserved critical supply chains, the United States is now restoring our own independent and reliable access to the goods we need to defend ourselves and preserve our way of life. We are collaborating with our trading partners to strengthen technology protections and develop frameworks that advance shared technology or shared industry standards and safeguard the digital economy. This is why President Trump has prioritized AI as a cornerstone of American innovation, powering a new age of human flourishing, economic competitiveness, and national security with American leadership in science and technology. American industry is working diligently to bring the benefits of artificial intelligence to the world. Right now, America is at a moment of strength with the best chips, the best models, and the best applications. The nations and companies that control the information infrastructure will influence global communications for many years to come. This is why the values of those nations and companies matter so much. As you are all aware, in July, the White House released America's AI Action Plan, which outlined policy recommendations for the U.S. government, including tasking the U.S. Secretary of Commerce to stand up an American AI exports program to support the American AI technology stack worldwide, to strengthen our relationships with our allies, and to secure our continued technological dominance. This program is being established in consultation with the Director of the Office of Science and Technology, or OSTP, and the Secretary of State in a coordinated national effort. In response to this directive from President Trump, Secretary Letnick has been working to translate this strategy into action and outcomes. We are implementing the American AI Exports Program, starting with a request for information in which we have posed fundamental questions regarding the program's structure and operations, geographic market prioritization, and appropriate federal support mechanisms. As we continue to build this program, we want to hear from you and invite you to participate in the listening process for this program, which opens through December 13th. Visit aiexports.gov or regulations.gov to participate. We need your expertise, your insights, your candid feedback on how we can get this right. We recognize the sheer complexity of these industries and the incentives at play. We are mindful of the Hippocratic Oath in these complex markets and seek precise methods to drive precise outcomes. The stakes are too high and the opportunities too significant for us to move forward without incorporating the perspectives of those who will be directly involved in this effort. We are grateful to those who have shared their perspectives already. We want to hear from American AI companies about what they need in support of their efforts abroad. And we want to hear from our foreign allies and partners, both governments and companies, as the buyers of American AI, about what would be most helpful to them in facilitating that process. We seek to make clear that American goods, services, and technologies are a far better buy in the long run because they are higher quality and do not come with the same kinds of strings as other countries' assistance. We want to have a deep understanding of how we can best unlock American value and values for the world. The American value on offer is the best and most performant AI capabilities at the best possible price, the business proposition. And the American values on offer are, among others, our openness, transparency, trustworthiness, commitment to freedom and innovation, and free market capitalism that continue to make us the global partner of first choice. As nations consider what sovereign AI means to them and how to bring the benefits of AI to their citizens, we want the American AI technology stack to have the most compelling proposition of value and values. Your input will directly inform our program and shape how we deploy federal resources, coordinate diplomatic efforts, and structure how the program works. This is your opportunity to help us build the program that both serves national interests and creates real opportunities for American businesses and their partners abroad. If you care about AI, join the conversation and submit your best ideas. Another area of focus for this administration is the strength of our domestic semiconductor industry. To export the American AI technology stack around the world and offer innovative U.S. technologies to governments and markets seeking the highest quality products, we know the semiconductor industry will play a pivotal role going forward. A single AI server contains thousands of semiconductors. Among these chips, leading-edge processors designed by American companies are the most coveted for AI training and inference. In addition to American-made memory chips, interconnects, and power chips, we know semiconductors are the key to American AI competitiveness, and the American AI Exports Program will help ensure American AI and American chips continue to lead around the globe. And finally, I'll note the Trump administration is committed to ensuring unrestricted global cross-border data flows. In an increasingly digital economy, cross-border data flows underpin innovation and trade, and the proliferation of laws governing and restricting transfers of data threaten to undermine the biggest opportunities of the digital age and emerging technologies. Cross-border data flows depend on two key elements: the interoperability of laws across different markets and trust that data will be protected when it goes to other jurisdictions. We know how important these data flows are to our companies, our economy, and to the U.S. technological leadership and economic security. Simply put, secure cross-border data flows enable the development and availability of the best possible technology at the best possible price for all of our citizens. With programs like the EU-US Data Privacy Framework and the Global Cross-Border Privacy Rules System, or CBPR, we at the International Trade Administration are committed to helping companies comply with cross-border legal requirements and build trust with our foreign partners for the benefit of U.S. companies. In conclusion, we know all American technology companies provide the most reliable and innovative solutions to the world's challenges. Artificial intelligence is an example of how the United States can lead while recognizing the value of digital sovereignty, data privacy, and technological prosperity for their citizens. That trust, transparency, and security can be expected from AI technology and infrastructure that have been made in America. And our commitment to property rights and freedom, both of which stand guard against threats to digital sovereignty, will never waver as we work to maintain the security of our nation and the prosperity of her people. Thank you all for being here today, and I look forward to our conversation.
Thank you so much, Deputy Undersecretary. It's really a pleasure to be here. And we really appreciate all of your exciting comments about the work of the Commerce Department. I thought maybe we could kick off with just diving in a little bit more on what you're doing on the American AI Exports Program. I know that's a personal passion for you and something you've worked very closely on. You know, the administration has ambitious goals for AI, and we've appreciated hearing President Trump's emphasis that Americans must win the global AI race. You know, as the administration seeks to promote the exports of the full AI stack, how do you define that? You know, what is considered a full stack to you?
Yeah, kind of depends on the context. You can see within the executive order, it lays out some of the definitions. But I think maybe the simplest way to think about it is everything that AI requires. So from power to apps and everything in between.
Great.
There's a lot, yeah.
So I know that you're in listening mode now. I'm sure you're having a lot of really interesting conversations with companies. But as you're getting closer to that December 13 deadline, how do you think that you're going to approach promoting the American AI stack? And sort of what are the expected benefits and incentives for that program for U.S. businesses?
Yeah, I would say maybe I'll describe our approach, which is we want to hear from you what the actual practical benefits would be, what the problems are. We don't want to solve an abstract idea. We want to be grounded in the realities that you all face. So the companies that are already selling around the world, we want to hear from them. But also on the other side, from our foreign allies and partners, those who are buying, what is helpful to you? There's two sides to these transactions. We're here to enable those. So we want to deeply understand those. We want to understand the pain points, and we want to design precise value around those pain points.
Great, great. So what's the timeline for this process? After you get the comments December 13th, what is the follow-up process for that?
So hopefully we will get lots more feedback. We've received quite a bit so far. Yeah. And then we'll be, talking with Secretary Lutnick, speaking with the Director of OSTP, Michael Kratsios, Secretary of State. There'll be a process there. You'll hear more soon. But I would say all possible speed.
All possible speed.
Yep.
Great. We love speed in the AI realm. Okay, well, changing gears a little bit, this administration's commitment to tech leadership, U.S. tech leadership, and to breaking down barriers to that tech leadership has really been significant. The administration has celebrated some really big successes in the deals with Southeast Asia, Latin America, and Switzerland. What role has the Commerce Department played in those efforts? And can you share some context on how those deals came together?
Yeah, well, you've all seen the headlines. You've seen the role that USTR plays. Secretary of Commerce has been on the trips, been in the deals, et cetera. I would say that you've seen a whole-of-nation effort. You definitely see that the handoffs were aware, and every department playing to its strengths. This is something that's unique about some of the talent that's in the departments right now with Secretary Lutnick and others who know how to make deals, who know how to drive investment. And I think you saw that come out in Korea and Japan and other places.
Yeah. What are some of the top priorities for the department in the digital space? I know that you've mentioned, your AI work, and I'll ask you about your privacy work in a minute, but what are other digital priorities that you all are really focused on and trying to drive within the group of agencies that are working on these issues in the administration?
Yeah. Digital trade barriers of many forms. Those can be market access. Those can be other kinds of policies that seem technical but have usually the net effect of increasing barriers to American companies, and that may not be grounded in international standards. So we hear from those in a few ways. Sometimes we hear them from companies. Sometimes we see them in our interactions with those countries. And we are advocates. We are there to show up, to advocate for American companies, and to advocate for the policies that enable prosperity on these matters. That's something we've been doing before. I'd say there's a renewed emphasis on that now, and there's a laser focus on it.
Great. So you mentioned in your remarks that ITA has played a huge role in promoting U.S. competitiveness and addressing and administering data flow agreements. I'll say that at the beginning of my career, I worked at the Commerce Department on a data privacy agreement with APEC. So I followed all that work very closely. Can you tell us what is the importance of the free flow of data to American competitiveness?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been important, right? It was important for software, et cetera. It was important for cloud, but now for AI, it's even more important, right? Data flows cut to the core of price and performance for AI. And we're trying to enable that as much as we can. And really, it's to all of our benefit, right? It's not to our collective benefit if every village has their own policy and you need a compliance policy for every single subunit of the world. So we're trying to get to harmonization. We're trying to get to frameworks that make this reasonable and easy, but also protect data and allow for those mechanisms that we're all looking for. So that's where the EU-US data privacy framework, the CBPR, all these things come in, and where we advocate for those is to harmonize regulations, is to make the free flow of data possible, and then really ultimately to enable AI. And that's going to matter quite a bit going forward. It matters a lot now.
Yeah. You mentioned the EU. I didn't start it. You did. The EU, as Deputy USTR Switzer was mentioning in his remarks, the EU has taken a very different approach to tech regulation than the United States. I would argue, to their detriment. How is the Commerce Department thinking about the EU digital regulatory agenda and how to potentially address it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that we've had some concerns in some ways, and you can look to public statements there. Secretary Letnick said we've made our concerns known. These are active discussions, so I won't get ahead of the Secretary. But I would say the same principles apply. And we've seen some policies that have gone in other directions that are not, I would say, in either American interest benefit or even in the interests of other countries at times, in their long-term interests. Yeah. As was discussed earlier, that sometimes we feel that other countries are not prioritizing the long term. And we'll say that where we see that, and we have.
Yeah, and besides Europe, where are some countries that you have focused those conversations on in particular? I mean,
a whole lot of places. I would say any large economy where there's a lot of interest, we're very focused. Every country has its own story, so I won't call out specific countries here, but I'll just say the president's recent trip to Asia highlighted a lot of this. This was definitely, in conjunction with USTR, a big focus. And we were looking at particular countries and having a lot of closed-door meetings on those things as well. It will always come up, right? It's really core to part of our trade relationships. It's core to bring the benefits of AI to America and to citizens everywhere.
And looking at the AI export program, are there any particular ideas that you've floated around on how you might use that program to combat some of these problems that you see around the world?
Yes, I would say, everything's on the table right now, so we're hearing everything. But some of the things we've heard have been, what's the eligibility criteria for who's in? What's the quid pro quo on when you're in and when another country is prioritized, and let's say the US government is assisting those other countries, what would we expect on the other side? I think you can expect, and it would make sense, that harmonized digital trade barriers and other such things, privacy frameworks, data flows, et cetera, would be very compatible with us, and that seems to be a prerequisite. It seems to make sense, right? And the more that those things get in the way, the harder it's going to be to harmonize our policies with theirs. That includes export controls as well. Right? So we're looking to build the circle of friends that we can share these benefits with, that we can enable American companies to sell into. And so then that way they can take part in the big transformations that are happening and that are coming from AI and the benefits that those bring.
That's really exciting to hear. Just sort of, wrapping up, what can all of us around this room do to help you with this agenda? I think as fans of work to bring down barriers to U.S. companies and our exports, what is the number one thing that we all can do to support you?
Join the conversation. Please submit your ideas. Our nerd factor is high. We will read everything, but submit it all, because we want to be grounded in what you all are living every day. And I know we have industry here, we have trade associations, we have foreign countries here. Let us know what you think. What is helpful to you to sell? What is helpful for you to buy? What is helpful to you in terms of markets and frameworks, et cetera? We want as much in-depth knowledge as we can possibly get.
Great. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to speak with you.
It's been a pleasure.